Hi, Jacqueline. I feel
Mhm.
honored to be sitting with you today and discussing the workings of your nonprofit Beyond the Vision initiative and celebrating the Nelson Mandela Day together. So, I am completely excited to what this interview holds and what all knowledge I'll gain. So, if it's okay with you, can I start with my first question?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, please.
Perfect. So, Jacqueline, I wanted to know why is it important to celebrate the Nelson Mandela Day?
I think it's very important to celebrate Nelson Mandela Day. Firstly, it's important to celebrate individuals in this world that have brought in change, and they boldly brought change to their countries and to their communities. And so I think it's important to celebrate Nelson Mandela. He's an icon in Africa, and he's one of the heroes that we have in Africa. And it's important to never forget him and his work and what he fought for, not only in South Africa, but in the whole of Africa. And so it's good to celebrate, to remind ourselves, to remind children, and also to make it to bring in awareness to those that don't know about Mandela, to bring in awareness about his work and what he did while he was still alive.
Perfect. And when you
Yeah.
mention children, I really believe people like these, they become a part of our history, they become a part of our culture. And it's very important to
Yeah.
pass on that teachings and learnings to our future generation and also to remind ourselves that, the sacrifices that people made for us should not go in vain. Perfect.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Jacqueline, I wanted to know how does your organization celebrate this day and the activities that they do uh, for to commemorate this day?
Thank you very much. Uh, just like Madiba, because in Africa we call him Madiba, we believe in education. I'll quote one of his famous quotes, that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And in African nations, that is very true. And as an organization, we resonate with what Mandela said. And so we don't just celebrate Mandela Day, we celebrate Mandela every day because we believe in education firstly, and we offer basic education programs to children who cannot afford any kind of education. Also, we give them scholarships. And so we are using education as a tool to break poverty from Kenya and hopefully from the world. On Mandela Day, of course, we celebrate him. The best thing about Mandela Day is awareness. Like I said, we need to have the children and the communities know about Mandela, the sacrifices that he made, and also the work that he did. And so the first thing is just education, awareness about Mandela. Have children research about Mandela. Have children give stories about heroes that they know of, human heroes and not fiction that they know of. And Mandela is one of the heroes. But this year, I want to introduce something that I learned from an organization or a fellowship program that I was part of, which is called Acumen Academy. They use what they call good society reading to educate leaders and to encourage ethical leadership. And so I'm using a good society reading, which is I'll take an extract from Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom, and have a session also with the team that I work with, my colleagues, and just read a portion of Mandela's book and discuss it. I'd like to know what they think about him, want to know what characteristics they admire about Mandela, and what they can do as leaders, as local leaders, to actually basically get to at least halfway where Mandela was. And so we are planning to have a good society reading, have children tell us about Mandela, their heroes, and also, if possible, just have some art from the children on Mandela. Yes, I'm
That
Risha.
was that was perfect. Amazing.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of responses do you get when you share these stories, especially when it comes to children? Are they excited? Do they become sad listening to the struggle that you went through? So, how is their reaction?
The first reaction, of course, they're sad. And I remember when I was a child, I used to be very sad when I read about Mandela, or when I watch him on television because of the struggle that he underwent. The first thing is children become sad. But when they understand why he sacrificed what he sacrificed for the country, they view him as an hero, as a local hero, and also an international hero. And yes, we try to encourage them to really change the world, but sometimes their feedback is like, we don't want to go through the hardship, but they have to know that the world has changed right now, and you don't have to go through so much hardship to bring change into this world. But they love Mandela, and everyone loves Mandela. We view Mandela as one of the biggest change makers in Africa. We view Mandela as one of the leaders that we have in Africa that really inspires the bigger population. And so to us, Mandela is an icon, and to the children also, he's an icon. Someone to be celebrated and someone to actually be remembered, and if possible, to just continue what he started. And so yeah, they get sad but excited about hearing about Mandela.
But when you said that he was a local hero, he was an international person. I believe not only one part or his celebration should be confined to a region. It should be celebrated everywhere as a mark of freedom, as a mark of struggle for their own people. So exactly. And so what is the one belief or action of Nelson Mandela that drives you?
I think apart from his beliefs, I think one of the things that I admire about Mandela, and it drives me actually, he wasn't afraid. Yeah, that's something that when I look at him, he wasn't afraid. And that's a huge, huge deal for me. Because sometimes to bring a change in any kind of setup, you need to be confident and bold. And he wasn't afraid, but also he led with a smile. And that really inspires me a lot, because he was a visionary, but he led with a smile. But yet he was very bold. He was very bold, and we need bold leaders in the world. We need bold leaders. Right now, we may not be fighting or going through the struggle that he went through, or any other leader went through a few years ago, but the struggle is still real. The struggle on poverty is still real. He really believed in fighting poverty, and that inspires me. I believe in Africa, we need to fight poverty. He believed in education. I also believe that education is the weapon to change the world from poverty. And so for African nations, if we embraced education, if we educated our population as African nations, just what Mandela believed in, if we all adapt that as African nations, from the governments to the civil societies, to non-governmental organizations, to individuals, because I still believe it's a citizen's role to change the world and to change their own country and the development of their own country. If starting from the families to the governments, if we all believed in education like Mandela did, I think African nations would be so far by now. And yes, I know Mandela believed in education, and it inspires me to do the same. I don't know whether I answered your question.
Yes, you did answer my question, and that is something that even I believe, because education is the weapon from which you can change a future. It's as simple as that. And only when you spread education does it enhance the quality of every individual, and then the whole society, and then the whole country, and then the whole globe. It's a chain process. And when you said that the leaders right now, they might not have to go through these struggles, so yes, that's absolutely true, because the times have been changing, and the forms of struggles have changed, but the goal and the reason why we go through them is still remains the same. Still remains the same way. Even today we are fighting for poverty. Even today we are fighting for education. That were the same agenda for which Nelson Mandela was fighting, and then even people before that was fighting. Absolutely correct. So my next question is, what are the few qualities of Nelson Mandela that you think everyone should adopt?
Oh, thank you for that question, because I think I'd gone ahead of myself. The first quality, he wasn't afraid. I love that about him. He wasn't afraid. I think I adapted the same quality when I was young. He was a peaceful person. And sometimes he was, can you believe, an activist that is peaceful? When we think about activism, we think about a lot of strife, a lot of fighting. But he was a peaceful guy. He was a visionary, and I'm a visionary. Really, I really resonate with his qualities. I'm not saying that I'm the next Mandela, but I'm just saying that I'm a visionary also. I loved the fact that he forgave. Sometimes when you're trying to bring change, the same people who you're trying, let's say, to help or change their situations or rewrite their history, they're the same people who really do you wrong. And so it's important to forgive. And that's one of the things I've had to grow into. I'm still working very hard on the same, but he was forgiving, and he was persistent. And being a visionary, you have to be persistent, because sometimes you lose hopes. Sometimes the environmental factors or secondary factors outside your scope may affect what you want to do, but you have to keep on doing it. And so he was very persistent. And those are qualities that I would want to also have: persistency, being able to push something to the end, and you're trying to bring change. Those are qualities that if you lack, you have to really work on, because every day when we wake up, we may want to give up, because sometimes things don't work the same way that we want. People don't see what we see. Sometimes we're poor communicators. But I think he was a good communicator, Mandela. He was a good communicator, and he communicated his vision. He communicated whatever he was trying to bring along, and people understood him and followed him. And so those are the qualities that I admire about Mandela. And sometimes I tick and say, oh yeah, I have this quality, so I'm on the right path.
So back when you said that, you're saying that you're like Mandela, but why not? You are the Mandela. Everybody's Mandela. This is something that we need. And yes, with the qualities that you mentioned, I believe the very basic thing was peace of mind. And he was even when so much was happening around him, he was at peace, which allowed him to be persistent, which allowed him to be a good communicator, because there was no hustle going on in his mind.
Yeah.
So I remember in my first question, I said that celebrating personalities like Mandela should not be restricted to a region or to a certain set of people, and it should actually go out, and that everybody's Mandela. So my next question really revolves around this point, where I want to know the reasons, even though we know we should all celebrate, but then is there a strong reason why Mandela Day should be celebrated around the world?
I believe that every organization, every government is different, and people should celebrate Mandela in different ways according to how they resonate with the work of Mandela. How they resonate with his personality, with his work, with his struggle, and with the achievements that he made. All in all, we need to celebrate Mandela Day. All in all, we need to celebrate the icons of these nations. It depends, because it depends on maybe the grouping. It depends on how people want to celebrate. But I believe from offices to families, we should celebrate Mandela Day in unique ways, in diverse and unique ways, because diversity is what we've been given for free, and we should use it to celebrate this hero. For us that work with the communities, it's important to show the communities first of all, the qualities of Mandela, because those are things that some of the qualities people are born with, and show that you can actually use your qualities to change the world. We can also talk to people about the opportunities that they have to change the world, because he used the opportunities that he had to change the world. What was his belief system? What was his belief system? And everyone's belief system is different, but how can we leverage on everyone's belief system to celebrate Mandela. And so I think people should actually celebrate Mandela Day in diverse ways, depending on their location, depending on their social standards and all that. They should just celebrate Mandela Day in diverse ways. But we have to push on education. We have to make sure that we use Mandela Day to promote education and the role of education in fighting poverty in the world.
Absolutely correct. By whatever you said, I understand that just by walking the path that he showed to everyone would be enough to celebrate him and his struggles, like making sure that the children around you are educated, making sure that the quality of education is proper, making sure that you have that strong belief system, and you just do the right things and be the right person for people around you. That was perfectly amazing, Jacqueline. And with this question, I have come to the end of my questions list.
Thank you.
If you have something that you'd like to ask me, or if there's something else that you'd like to share that I missed out on.
No, I think everything we've covered, but I thank you for the opportunity and for also making sure that we celebrate this day as an organization also, and for the partnership that we have with Goodera. It's really a good partnership, and I believe that through this we'll be able to have also our voices heard, and we'll make sure that on this day we celebrate Nelson Mandela, and we make sure that we make use of social media platforms, and any publicity channel that we may have to basically show the world that we're celebrating this day and we're celebrating the hero that we have in Africa. Thank you.